Hey guys, welcome into the Outspoken Network here. It's Sportscast. You got your hosts Brian, Jeff, and we got Craig as well, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. It's episode 229. We got the top 10 quarterback list today. We're going to give you our top 10 quarterback list headed into this year. I love this time of year as we get football started. How you guys been?
Been pretty good.
Been pretty good? Awesome. Awesome. All right, let me change this Facebook over here to public, and we are all set. All right, guys. Well, it is that time of year. We got the quarterback list. Next week, we're going to go over our power rankings, our top 5 teams, and then any headlines of the week. Got college football as well. So we're going to do the quarterback list, and we're going to do it from 10 to 1. I think that's the best way to do these lists as well. All right, number 10. I'm interested to see what we got. I've changed my list a couple times. I was going over it a couple times, and I moved some people around. I bumped some people out. I'm interested to see where you guys, who you guys got at number 10. Craig, I will start with you. Give us your number 10 quarterback headed into the NFL this season.
Didn't even make it, and if I could have found some other people to make it, I probably would have. But Jalen Hurts lost the locker room last year. I think he lost the team, and I'd be very interested to see what he does this year. I think you're going to see a huge drop off in his play, and that he might be what we kind of thought he was coming out. He had the almost MVP year.
Yeah.
Last year that started, and then cooled way off. And the season
That's interesting because I wasn't really big on Hurts. I think both of us weren't really big on Hurts coming in.
No, at all.
Sorry, Ryan distracted me. Hurts is, like I said, we weren't big on him. He had one really good year, and last year he kind of fell off, especially at the end of the season. I think he bounces back this year and plays better this season with the additions they added. There's been rumors of beef between him and the head coach, and when you're not on the same page, then it's hard to have the locker room have your back, right? It's hard to when your quarterback is beefing with the head coach. There's a lot of dismantle going on in the locker room, and it looks like you lost it. Maybe they try and fight it back this year. I think if Sirianni doesn't turn it around this year after all this ownership group has done for this team, then I think he'll be gone next year. Jeff, who do you have at number 10, bud? You're muted, Jeff. Your mic is muted.
Sorry,
there we go.
I'm back.
No, you're good.
I usually mute when we do the opening, but so yeah, on my list it was a toss up. I was kind of going back and forth with this one, but I kind of ended up settling on. I like Jared Goff at 10. I think because of the system that he's in, he did perform way better than he had in the previous few years since his years with the Rams there. He did actually have, I think, his turnover percentage was low, the lowest in his career. So I think his completion rating was a little higher than usual. So under pressure is kind of still a problem with him. He doesn't do well, obviously, with that kind of thing. So there's some give and takes there, but I do think he was. I would look to see him maybe improve a bit. But that's kind of who I settled at 10.
Well, that's funny because Ryan Sims is on here talking, and he put this on here. He said Goff is trash, and if you have him on your top 10, I don't respect your list.
Well, he's about
and
to not respect mine too.
Let me tell you, Jeff, he's only saying that because I shared my list with him yesterday, and I have Jared Goff at number 10. I don't think after the year he had last year, you can keep him out. He had one of his best years last year. He really fit in with this Lions offense really well. He just knows the system. He feels comfortable in it. He's got weapons. He's got a good offensive line. He's got a good defense. He's got a good head coach. There's a lot going on right for the Lions this year. So I also have him at number 10. I think he'll be about the same quarterback this year. I don't know if he's going to go get much better than this, but I don't think he's going to come out here and wet the bed either. So,
Yeah. I mean, and
num-
his big time throw percentage was also really, I think, the highest he had in his career. So his numbers wise, I mean, they were kind of when he was doing pretty well with the Rams. And I think with him, it's the system. It's the
Yeah.
system he's in, and I think the system works. The coach works. Like I would expect them to. I mean, if it's the same, they went. I mean, they went far. So,
yeah, they're a
but
talented
if
football team.
it's slightly better, then that's nothing to cough at.
Now, you brought the word system a lot, but people think system quarterback's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to me.
Mm-mm.
That means you found a quarterback that can run your system perfectly.
Drew Brees was that.
You look at Brock Purdy and Shanahan, they fit like a glove. That's great that you found a quarterback that works your system. That's what you want. So people throw that oh, he's just a system quarterback. Well, then that's great because he found a system and it works for him. Number 9, I have Matthew Stafford at number 9. Now, yes, I get he's a little older, but the year he had, no one expected the Rams to be in the playoffs last year. They expected a complete fall off. I thought he played pretty good. He's still got a really good arm. Makes good decisions with the football for the most part. He's still a little bit of a gunslinger, which I like. But I got Matthew Stafford at number 9. I almost put him a little higher, but I said, nah, just because of his age, I had to put him at that spot right there. So, Craig, who you got there at number 9?
I have Goff at 9. I think the year he had last year, I think he's going to better on that. I think he's got a ton of weapons. I think that offensive line is gelled and played a full year together. And I like what he did. And I mean, now was that a year? It was the contract year. So did he perform that way to get the contract that he got? And now he's not. Comes out this year and is not as good. We'll see. But I mean, he had a really good season and took them to almost what should have been a Super Bowl appearance. I mean, barring a crazy catch by the 49ers and a collapse. They're in the title game, so you can't really fault that. So that's who I got at 9.
All right, Jeff, number 9, bud. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Tua. Mainly because I just he had a really good year last year. He played his, I think, probably his first full season. Maybe it was one of his first full seasons, but he relatively stayed healthy. But that's the thing is, like, I was always worried about that, but that's kind of that flip flop with me, with both him and Goff there, but I do like the system. Again, that's the other thing. I like the way that they're handling Tua. I like the way that they're, he did have a little bit of some tendencies last year that I didn't really like, but I hope and this is future projection here. My hope is he gets better and learns from last year, and I expect Tua to be a better quarterback this season.
And stay
so
healthy.
That's kind of why I put him there, and healthy. Yeah.
All right, Craig, who you got? You got
number 8. I got Tua.
Number 8.
I like what he does over there, and I love the relationship with the head coach and him talking in the headset, talking trash to him, up into the line. I mean, he had a great season, and I think with Waddle and Tyreek and especially now that they have that running game with H and those guys, I think, to take the pressure off Tua a little bit, I think it helps tremendously. And I think you're going to see another big season out of him.
All right, guys, we might have our first guest appearance of the show. We'll see. Ryan wants to jump on and said, well, do it, man. Do it. My number 8, Tua did not make my top 10, guys. So,
you're usually pretty big on him. That's interesting.
Yeah, I just feel like something's missing. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's the injury. Maybe all those injuries he had with the concussions. I do like the head coach. He has the weapons. I need to see him this year go into the playoffs and win a big game. I need to see it. It's about that time to see a step forward, and I have him in my honorable mention category.
Yeah.
But my number 8, and a lot of people are going to tell me this is low. I got Lamar Jackson. A lot of people are going to tell me it's low. He's MVP last year. I'm not big on Lamar Jackson. Still not. He doesn't show up in playoff games. He's entertaining to watch. Don't get me wrong. I'll flip it on to watch some Lamar Jackson run around, make a decent throw every now and then. I don't think he throws the ball that well. I don't think he is a guy that can. So far hasn't been that guy to lead his team to
Put a
a
team
big
on your
playoff
back
win.
and yeah.
He's not that guy. So I can't keep him out. I don't think a proper list can keep him out of the top 10. But I'm not going to have him in the top 5 or up there like that, like most people have him. Some have him number 2, and I'm like, that's insane to me. But, Jeff, who's your number 8?
I'm going with Lamar Jackson. That's it's fascinating. Mainly because, like, I just, I again, these top 10, they're good quarterbacks. That's why they're top 10. They're not horrible, but the one thing I will say, I think with Lamar Jackson's last year, I'm pretty sure he passed for more yards than he ever has in his whole career to this point in the season, single season. So I think that's something that's good. I don't think it's a long-term thing with him. I think eventually it will he'll maybe start deviating and start, trying to do his old stuff again. But I do, in terms of actually I can't take anything away from the guy. So, he's been in the playoffs pretty consistently. He's got hurt, but he's been in the playoffs consistently. And I can't put him, like Brian said, I can't really put him in the top tier from 5 to 1, but at least I got to put him on this list because it's undeniable. He does have talent. It's just, the talent is kind of murky a bit.
Yeah. And like, this is a team also that has a really good defense every year. They're going to punch you in the mouth. They play really good defense to back up him, so he has that to rely on there. And he'll have those seasons where he'll do an MVP season and going, okay, wow, he had really, really good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, they choke in the playoffs, and then he has a mid-season next year.
Yeah.
I don't think he could be consistent in that kind of play without him getting injured and stuff like that. And he also lost quite a bit of weight heading into this year. He looks a lot thinner, so we'll see how that plays into his game this year. Ryan said, y'all hang out too much. Well, I did not share my list with Jeff before the show or anything. And Jeff lives in Colorado, so I don't know. We can hang out too much physically. But number 7. Got to put some respect on this guy's name. Give me Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, ever since he entered the league, has played really, really good football. A lot of people say system quarterback. Say what you will. He's been in the Super Bowl. He's been in many playoff games. He's let his team down to win when they needed it. I cannot pit Brock Purdy higher than that, but I got to have him in the top 10 with the success he's had so far. I think they continue that success this year. I think the 49ers are still probably the best team in the NFC. What do y'all think about? What's your thoughts on Brock Purdy, guys?
Put him on the list, but I just couldn't with. And I like what he's done.
Brock Purdy.
I like what he's done, but I can't. Couple other guys that I like better than him. There's going to be one that I think you're both going to be like, "Are you kidding me right now?" But and especially where I put him. But yeah, I think he's done well. I think he's got a ton of weapons. I think Shanahan in the system. If he has another great season, then I won't be able to deny him next year. And I had him on the list last year. I just think there's some other guys that had really, really good seasons, and I think are going to have really, really good seasons this year. Going forward.
I like Brock Purdy. It's undeniable. Like, he is one of the. I would say if it continues this year, there's no doubt that draft number means absolutely nothing. Nothing. I mean, he's obviously in the perfect place and the perfect spot that he could ever be in. It's like a match made in heaven with that team and him. And I know Brian was sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, system people," and honestly, everyone is. Everyone is. If you hit the right team, you stay there.
Yeah.
If it's the right staff, you stay there. You're not, especially if you're having success. You're not gonna just imagine if Tom Brady just left. Like, I'm leaving, or Bill Belichick just walked off and left after 2 Super Bowls, and it would have been like, who knows what that team would look like. We obviously have answers now, but that could have changed things. Who knows what that would have done, or if Bill Belichick just got fired before Tom Brady even walked onto an NFL football field. What would that have all looked like? Who knows? But that's the thing, is I think Brock Purdy's in the perfect spot. He is in my list. Because
don't give it away yet.
I'm not. He's in my list, but he is. It is starting to feel more and more likely that I'm like this. It's hard to deny this guy. He keeps going. He keeps going. I mean, the guy's consistently.
I guess my thing is, I looked at it as if you took Purdy and put him somewhere else, is he still thing? And I don't think he is, in my opinion.
Right. And they do have. I mean, they got a lot of weapons.
If we take some of these other guys that are on the list and put them on another team, I think he's still good quarterback.
Still good, yeah.
I don't know.
And that's probably true.
If Purdy is as good if you take him and put him somewhere else. He's great where he's at. I just don't know if he's good if you put him somewhere else.
I got you. You need to see it. You need to see him do it one more year, maybe.
Maybe.
And, all right, Craig. Who do you have at number 7?
This guy is about to find himself on the honorable mention list if he doesn't get it together. I have rode this guy into the sunset the last 2 seasons, and I got Herbert at 7. I'm very disappointed in his performance the last couple of years. I'm extremely disappointed in the way he plays big games, and he just never shows up. And so he has all the talent in the world to be in the top 2 or 3 where I've had him the last couple of years. But to me, he doesn't perform when the bell rings. He's never there he never answers the bell when it rings. And so I've got Herbert at 7, and I just, like I said, he has another year like last year, and he's going to find himself down there with the rest of them.
Yeah, I think Herbert, like we talked about it last week, he gets a lot of benefit of the doubt because
100%.
of his
off his college talent
alone. Yeah. His talent alone, he can make all the throws. He's a great quarterback. He's almost a picture-perfect quarterback, talent-wise, but we haven't seen it yet on the field. I think he changes it this year. I think Jim Harbaugh's the kind of coach that can turn that around.
My another concern is the injury. You got plantar fascia on your plant foot. I mean, can you throw the ball? Can you make all the throws now?
Right. All right, Jeff. Who do you got? Who do you got at number 7, bud?
Number 7. I'm gonna go with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I know, but it's hard. It's it's hard for me to. I mean, I can't go off last year because I mean, we did 2 snaps, 3 maybe. I don't know, 1. So I mean, it's hard for me to. Unless this year he does bad, then I won't have him on this list. But I see it and I'm like, man, I've doubted this guy before, and then all of a sudden he wins an MVP. So I'm like, okay, and based off of him, obviously, I think he's in a prove it year where it's like everyone's just going, you got hurt, you're done, you shouldn't have done this. Like I look at it, I'm like, the last time that happened, this dude went nuts. So, I got to put him on the list, and this is where I got him.
If your top 10 list doesn't have Aaron Rodgers at some point, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing?
Okay.
This guy's he's just too good of a talent.
Okay.
You can't count last year. He only played 4 snaps. I'm not saying that.
I don't know what to tell you.
Just because.
Keep looking.
Terrible. You have him at 7, Jeff. I got Aaron Rodgers at number 6. All right. I think barring all injury this year, obviously, I think Aaron Rodgers still got a great arm, great head on his shoulders. He knows the game left and right. Despite his crappy head coach in Saleh, they have a good team up there. The Jets, the defense. I told you that they were going to win the division if he stayed healthy. I still find that to be true. Aaron Rodgers is still a good quarterback. And no, Ryan, it's not Green Bay fandom. LOL. You have Aaron Rodgers in your top 10 as well, buddy. So don't come out of the shadows here. I got Aaron Rodgers number 6. Could I put him lower? Yes. But I'm with Jeff. You cannot have a top 10 list without having Aaron Rodgers on it, in my opinion.
You can't.
In my opinion.
I'll show it to you.
Yeah. May not be a credible list then, Craig.
Okay.
All right, Craig. Who you got at number 6, bud?
I got Lamar Jackson, and he doesn't need to be this high, but he had an MVP last year, so I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt, and said he has not shown up and put his team on his back, and my biggest of that was the year he was hurt and could have played, but didn't even get on the bus, plane, whatever, to show up to be on the sidelines for his team during that playoff game. And, and to me, how are you a leader of a team if you can't even show up for your team and at least put a headset on and be there and deal? And I lost a lot of respect for Lamar Jackson on the day that he left his team high and dry and didn't show up for the playoff game. Like I said, I'd like to put him lower, but I got some other guys that I just really, really like that kind of fit. I probably could have swapped him and Herbert, but Herbert's on the list right now.
All right, Jeff. Number 6, buddy. Who you got?
Number 6, I got Dak. Because this is another one of those where
okay,
you either you're on this list or you're not on this list anymore.
Where's the hide? Hold on.
Where's the hide button?
You're either on this list or you're not on this list. I'm done with the excuses. Put your team on your back, win some playoff games, and let's go. Because this is another one of those. The same with Herbert, but at least Dak's getting into the playoffs. But
he wins 10 games every year.
Come on. Well, I mean, Herbert wins too, but I mean, it is what it is. It's either time or it's not time, And I've been hearing these stories.
MVP last year. I think
I've been hearing stories. I've been hearing stories from my dad for years, from all the Cowboy fans for years. It's time. The time is now. And so, yeah, he's on the list, but
unfortunately, it won't be if they don't sign his number 1 wide receiver. So.
Well, I mean, but you know what? There are quarterbacks out there that have done more with less.
Yes.
I mean, take a look at Peyton Manning. He did it for years in Indianapolis. So Patrick Mahomes has got to do it as well. So, we can make excuses all day long, but he's going to have to play. And he's going to have to play the best he's ever played ever because people are starting to doubt now. And it's time. The time is now. So he's at 6 for me.
That is interesting. I mean, look, everything you said is true. It's time to show up or shut up with Dak Prescott. But without CeeDee Lamb, this offense is going to be neutered. So you better get CeeDee Lamb back out there. We got a lot of question marks with Dak as far as is he going to be back next year? Are the Cowboys going to pay him $65 million to stay? A lot of question marks surrounding Dallas.
Have plenty of money if you don't pay CD.
Yeah, you can't pay all 3.
Yeah.
You can't pay CD, Dak, and Parsons. So
I mean, you can if you do it right, but
they had an opportunity to do it right, and they always wait till the last minute and they get bent over the table. So, all right, Craig, give me your number 5, bud.
Here's where we start to get hot take-ish.
Oh no!
I owe this guy a huge apology because when he came out of college, I said that he would never do anything in the NFL just like his other Ohio State counterparts, and that's C.J. Stroud.
We got C.J. Stroud at 5.
I mean,
holy moly!
If this kid has half the year that he had last year, watch out for the Houston Texans because this kid came in and did everything that you can ask of a quarterback. He was a leader in the locker room. He was a leader on the field. They had some crazy injuries down the stretch, and he still took the team and put them in the playoffs. And he makes every throw. In college, he was extremely run heavy, and I thought he would try that in the NFL, just like Richardson did, and he did not. He stays behind. He runs when he has to, but he throws the ball. He stays in till the last minute and makes some of the tougher throws. I think the addition of Stephon Diggs, and a healthy Tank Dell and Nico Collins, I think that offense is going to be brutal to deal with this year. And I get it, but I just, there's going to be another name on this list that you're going to be shocked at too.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll stick around for the hot takes. Look, it was very hard, Craig, for me not to put C.J. Stroud on top 10. He's not. He's in the honorable mentions to me. He's got, look, that 1 year was amazing. Fantastic.
I get it. It's only 1 year, and it's probably too soon to jump into the deal. But it's
too soon. Yeah, and that's my only thing. And it's too soon and too high in my opinion. If you're going to be him in your top 10, I think he's going to be 8, 9, or 10, maybe 9 and 10. Having him at 5 to me is insane. Now, if he comes out and does it again, then by all means, I'm putting him up there too. But that is a hot take. That's the highest I've seen C.J. Stroud on anybody's list going in off of one season.
That's how I've looked at it. He is part of my honorable mention.
Caleb Williams will never come out of my mouth, Ryan.
Caleb top 4.
No, I don't know about that. So on my list, the reason why the reason in my opinion, at least on mine, the reason I put mine together is because I look at body of work improvement and looking for further improvement. So there's something to go off of other than just 1 year. And so that's kind of how I'm looking at it. So that's one of the reasons why CJ Stroud is not on my list, because we have seen one season. I'd like to see 1 or 2 more, to kind of take, use that as my backbone for it. But it was tough to not put him on this list, but I didn't because it is 1 year. They have an amazing defense, by the way. And their coach is definitely defensive minded, but I want to see if the NFL adjusts to CJ Stroud. And if they do, how does he respond to that? I've seen that with Mahomes. I just want to see that.
That's what the great quarterbacks do.
Exactly.
They adjust to the adjustments made. And I got the same question marks with Jordan Love. He's in my honorable mention. The same questions of, all right, this season we need to see that consistency all year long, and with the adjustments that are made to you. I after the last 9 games last year, I was a believer in Jordan Love. The first 6 games, I'm going, this guy's not. But I also, you got to remember, he's playing with a bunch of nobodies at wide receiver at that point. We're playing wide receiver by committee. That's a different conversation I got to have with you guys, because no one's done it like this before, and it actually worked out where we have wide receiver by committee, and they all seem to be pretty dang good. We're going to find out this year. We have the top 4 hardest schedule in the league. He will be tested this season. So, same question marks I got there. But CJ Stroud having one hell of a year last year, and they added they didn't stop there. They went out and added Diggs, which I'm not a big Diggs believer. I think he's can be a cancer, but he is a great offensive talent. But at 5 is tough for me to swallow with CJ Stroud. But that is pretty hot take.
This was a tough list to come up with.
Top 10s are always, especially quarterbacks. So number 5, Jeff, who do you have at 5?
Oh, number 5. Let me see on my list here. Man, Josh Allen. It's hard for me on this one. It's hard because I'm like,
That's pretty low.
I've been on the Josh Allen train, but I'm like, he could move up if he does incredible this year. I really want to see. I want to see him go to the next level. I want to see him bump it up more. It's one of those where I'm like, it's kind of like that Herbert conversation that we're talking about, where I'm just like, it's one of those where I'm like, dude, I've been like, come on, man, like I've been Like, he's so good, and he has all these awesome throws and awesome highlights and awesome moments, and I'm just like, I just want it to all, like, kind of click, all at the same time with the whole thing and in the playoffs and going further and, fighting for a Super Bowl spot and getting right there and doing it, even getting to the Super Bowl. I just want to see that, and he's a really good quarterback. I would feel wrong to not even have him on this list at all. He's the one who basically was swapping with Herbert. So, but I like Josh Allen at 5.
All right, that's pretty low from what I've seen others put him. I could see bumping him down because he hasn't performed in the playoffs. I think this year the Bills absolutely implode. They've taken away.
And that's why
they've taken away all his weapons.
I didn't put him there because I just think they're gonna. I mean, he has nobody to throw the ball to.
You know what's a crazy stat, and it's a true stat. He only has one receiver, one that caught a pass last year in the NFL. One. That's it. Nobody else. So they have given him nothing to work with.
Let's put it this way: 5, we had a fantasy football draft last night, and Josh Allen's still on waivers.
Yeah. Number 5, I have Justin Herbert. I used to have him usually top 3. I brought him down a little bit here, and I'm just like Craig. If he comes out and craps the bed again, then we've got to start holding Justin Herbert accountable. 5 might be a little too high, but his talent alone, I just can't get him off the top 5. So we'll see this year. I think the Chargers have always had that talent. They've always been, on paper, you're like, oh, this should be a really good football team, and then something happens and they don't click and they don't make it, they don't perform. I think the head coach is one of the biggest pickups of the offseason, and I think he's going to turn it around, but we'll see. Justin Herbert at 5 for me. Number 4. Here's where we probably get interesting. Number 4, I've got Dak Prescott. The question marks are still there on, is he the guy to win the Super Bowl? I don't think so. But there's no denying Dak Prescott is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. There's no denying that he can make every throw on the field. And he puts the numbers are there. The numbers are there for Dak Prescott. I've got to give him his due. Where I got him at 4. I don't think you can have him outside. I don't think you can have, if we're talking about playoff wins and all that, then yeah. But if you're talking about, look at his numbers and his arm talent and everything, I think he's a top 5 quarterback, definitely number 4 for me on the list. Craig, where are you having? Does that surprise you? I know you think I'm a big Dak Prescott hater.
Yeah.
Definitely not a hater, but
I mean, I have him at 4 as well. I think number 2 in the MVP last year. He really kind of, if you look at it, beat Lamar in a lot of the.
He could have won
MVP last year. And I this year's going to scare me if they don't sign Lamb. I think they get the deal done, but I mean we're in the wicking hour. I mean we're literally the start of this football season, and we don't have Lamb. And my concern with that is when he shows up, what kind of condition is he in, and I don't know. So I don't like that he didn't take a snap in the preseason. I'm against that completely. I think you need to take some live action, snaps and have real speed, and especially with the schedule they got coming out of the gate with Cleveland, and
they got a good defense. They're facing a good defense right off the bat.
I think
you're setting up for injury too, by the way.
I think you are. I think you've seen a lot of these guys that don't play start slow and injured and soft tissue injuries because you just go from going through the motions and walkthroughs to going full speed, and I think he needed to take a snap or 2, or even if it was 2 drives today. I think he needed to play, in one of these games and get some snaps. So we'll see. I mean, I'm never gonna be off the wagon. But I've died on this hill many times. But
yes, you have.
Yes, you have. That's where I got it.
All right, Jeff. Number 4. Give it to me, sir. Give it to me.
I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts at number 4.
Number 4.
Okay.
Are we
Oh,
watching a
Alex.
different?
Well, I'm not gonna hear that from a Cowboy fan. Come on now. We all know why you don't like Jalen Hurts.
Hold on. Being fair, I didn't like Jalen Hurts before he was an Eagle.
That is true. That is true. But
I think you give him a threat of also now having a obviously aging running back, but you give him a threat of having an extra person on the run to kind of set up a lot of the other offensive plays, things like that. I think a lot of the stuff they've done, whether it's in the off season, I think is not it hasn't hurt the team. So he was I'm pretty sure he was injured last year, especially towards the end there. So I think maybe being healthy, just going back, I wonder if tush push is going to be effective again. I
thought they ruled it like
did they break a rule against it?
Like they're not supposed to, like there's a version of it, but I don't think you can do it. Like I don't know. I was reading about it.
So needless to say, I mean I have him on the list. Production was, they fell apart at the end of the season, and some of that I think is something to do with this health. So we'll see. But I do have him on the list. It was maybe a little higher than everyone expected, but
yeah, Ryan's very shocked by that. Hurts above Dak, Lamar, and Allen is wild.
I mean, Dak's on the verge of not being on the list at all. So let's not get into that one.
All right, we're at
Don't worry,
3.
I'm gonna take the heat off you in just about 10 seconds.
Uh-oh. Well, let me give my number 3 out before we do that. And me and Ryan, we changed lists last night or yesterday, and we had the same top 4 or 5, I believe. Number 3, I got Josh Allen. I still got him up pretty high. Now I think they're gonna after this year, he probably won't be on this on the top 5, depending on how he plays. We're really gonna find out this year, though. They took all, like we just talked about, he took all his offensive weapons around. They took everything from him. I think their window is closed for the Buffalo Bills, and we talked about this plenty of times.
Barred.
They held on too long, and they got rid of their cancer of a wide receiver in Diggs, and they've given him no help. So we're really going to see what Josh Allen has this year, if he can turn that team around, and not turn it around because it was still a decent football team, but if he can keep it going. But I just don't know if I doubt they will be able to. But I still have Allen at number 3 there. All right, Craig, you said you're going to blow the top off this thing. All right, let's see.
You might be happy.
I might be happy?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it.
Jordan Love. That kid, he did everything you needed to do.
I'm gonna jump out of the seat.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, baby!
With a like you said, with a hodgepodge group of wide receivers, something clicked right around Thanksgiving and went all the way through the playoffs. And the kid that you saw against Dallas in the playoffs is what you're going to probably see all year this year. And if you can keep Watkins and Dobbs and these guys healthy, that team's going to be really, really good. And
I agree.
I agree 100%. I was with him when he came out. Watch his not only all the throws, all these guys can make all these throws, but the way he commands the offense, the way he under pressure, the way he responds to, he never gets rattled. He never makes where Favre was a gunslinger and was like, I can make that throw. Love will check down. Love will move to the side and avoid sacks. His presence in the pocket, his way of doing everything is I mean, I would take him in a minute.
I will say this. Tom Brady came out the other day and said the Packers are Super Bowl contenders.
I'm telling you.
I'm just saying.
I thought the Lions were going to run that division for a long time the way they put this team together. And I'm telling you right now, the window for that has closed dramatically because I think Green Bay is going to fight them for that division this year.
I agree with all that. I can't put them in top 3. I have them in my honorable mention, but I love them.
Well,
I
you
love
can't
it.
because they would call you
I
a
love it.
homer pigeon.
Homer.
But,
Yeah,
that is
they
true.
would.
Yeah,
That is true.
but I'll take that bullet. As Ryan's probably having a stroke right now.
He is. I'm gonna throw out some.
Yeah.
Let's throw out some of these. He said, that's insane.
Yeah.
He said, thanks, thanks for not being a homer, Brian.
Yeah.
Biggest overreach of the night. Bears ski film. We got a new person here. He says you're nuts. You need to be put in the insane asylum. But I like.
Well, everyone's gonna lose their mind on this next one. So.
Oh gosh.
Because I'm. Huh?
No, go ahead.
On the Caleb Williams train.
No, I'm kidding. No, I am actually going to be picking exactly the same thing. I'm going with Jordan Love. Jordan Love. I don't want to say it, but I'm not an idiot.
Way to steal the thunder,
I know what I see. And you know what? I'm going on the hill. I'm going on the hill with Craig.
Yeah.
It was hard. Brian was talking about it earlier, and I almost didn't want to say anything. So I'm like,
I was like, well,
let me not say anything.
Look real silly then.
But I can surely tell you that what I saw against the Dallas defense there was insane.
Yes.
And some of that, you could sit there and go, oh yeah, some of that was people not in the right spot, or besides the point, or got lucky on some of the throws or whatever. The guy carved one of the best defenses in the league up in a playoff game.
In their house,
which they have played well in.
Yes.
You have your own crowd there.
Yeah.
Everyone's cheering for you. He took that crowd's heart out, stomped it on the floor, and walked out the door.
Yeah.
And so honestly, that was incredible. I expect this dude to get even better. Green Bay is one of these sleeper teams. Don't look past them. I know I'm not sitting there saying it because Brian's my friend or whatever. I'm saying it literally from what I saw last year. That's a sleeper team. They were a sleeper team coming in the playoffs. Everyone was doubting them. And then we saw exactly what they can do. And now give them that momentum going into next season. It's a scary team.
And I think you can put, like I said earlier about Purdy, I think you can put Jordan Love on any franchise in the thing, and he's a solid quarterback and takes them to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I love the confidence, guys. Look, I think obviously Jordan Love looked great last year after those. He obviously the last 7 games of the season he was the best quarterback in the NFL. If you take this last 7 games, he played better than anybody.
Now, granted,
everybody. Mahomes, Dak,
they basically had to play for their play. They were basically playing playoff football from Thanksgiving on, so he had no choice.
Yeah. But that's pressure.
Yeah.
You think about that. Name other teams that they were given that kind of pressure and they faltered.
Yeah.
Look at the Eagles last year. They faltered. It was like all of a sudden, it's like any little injury, and it's just like origami on a wet Sunday. It's crazy.
I drafted Jordan Love last night, and for in fantasy football, and said we're going to ride this thing right to the.
I think.
End.
I try to be a realistic fan. And I believe I am. A lot of Green Bay Packer fans don't like Brian Gutekunst that I've seen. I think he's done a fantastic job. I said that years ago too.
Spoken by another Brian. Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, I'm kidding.
I think Matt LaFleur has to get a lot of credit. They drafted him. He was there since the beginning with this guy, and he's built them up. He's got to get credit for Jordan Love. He's got to get. He has been overlooked as Coach of the Year quite a bit, in my opinion. I think we could see that this year. Matt LaFleur. He's been a fantastic head coach and putting this team together. And I'm trying not to get too excited. I try and stay on the even keel, but I think Packers are going to have a good year this year. All right. Number 2, and I don't think anybody. I think our number 2 and 1 are the same. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is number 1. Obviously. Number 2's got to be Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, when healthy, is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I don't think you can put him any lower than number. You're not going to put him over Patrick Mahomes, obviously, but anybody that doesn't have Joe Burrow in the top 3, I think their list is a little faltered. But hey, most guys will say y'all's list are faltered for having Jordan Love at number 3.
Apparently, I'm just blind.
I mean, the thing about it is you want to have some sleeper guys in there. You don't want to be like, oh well, here we go with
this
let me just
list. I mean, that's why you
exactly.
make lists.
I mean, you want to spice it up a little bit. I mean, that's kind of the point,
like
right?
The Pat McAfee over here of the quarterback list.
Yeah.
Hot take all the way around.
Right, hot takes. Just throwing them out. All right, Craig. You have Burrow.
Yeah.
Jeff has Burrow, and then Patrick Mahomes to finish the list. And if you go look at the Patrick Mahomes numbers last year,
mine was Bo Nix.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Oh,
you don't have Caleb
Williams. That one
wrong.
hurts. He said, "Yeah, I think Love is more of a product of LaFleur. I don't think he's all that special, though." That one hurts, bud. That one hurts. But we will find out this year. Top 4, they're playing the top 4 toughest schedule in the league. We'll find out for sure if we can win the division. I think the Lions are the team to beat 100%. Right now and how good they were last year. But we'll find out. All right, guys. Well, that's the top 10 quarterback list. We had some hot takes. Usually I'm the hot take guy over here, but we have some Greg taking some hot takes, Jeff taking some hot takes there as well. So I have probably CJ Stroud at 11, Jordan Love at 12, Cousins probably at 13. I'm surprised Cousins didn't make a top 10. I know he was hurt last year. Usually I have Cousins in my lower part of the top 10, 8, 9, 10. I think Kirk Cousins is still a good quarterback, and he's going to have the Falcons in a very good spot this year, I believe. In my opinion, I believe they win that division with him. It's not. I don't think it's any hot take or anything. The division's crap, but I do think Kirk Cousins is good enough to get them.
Goes bananas.
Bananas over here. All right. We have 2 other things to get into here, and this one I just thought was kind of interesting because I've seen a lot of hate on Tua for this. Tua's on a podcast. I don't even know what podcast it was, or it was a show or whatever he was on, talking about Brian Flores. Brian Flores is a coach that got fired in Miami. They bring in a whole new head coach, and what's his freaking name? You love him, Craig. He's actually a really good coach too.
Stump me.
Way to stump you. Daniels.
Yeah.
Daniels. It's
Mike
Daniels. And I think he's been great. He's been fantastic.
Mick Daniels. I don't know.
But Tua comes out and says that Brian Flores told him he sucks every day and he doesn't belong here and he should have drafted someone else. And everyone, surprisingly, I've gotten on the comments in social media and everyone's calling Tua's just too soft. I'm like, that makes no sense. If you had just go to your job every day and be told you suck at it every day, you're going to eventually believe it. And that's what Tua said. He said, hey, look, he told me I sucked every single day at this. You're going to believe it. You're going to be down on yourself. Coaches are supposed, at times to be tough, right? But you're supposed to read the player. Can this guy take this tough love if that's what he was doing? Or it was Brian Flores just being an a-hole or whatever it was. But I just thought it was wild that Tua was being called soft because he didn't want to be told that he sucks every day. Like, you got to build your players up. And I think Josh Daniels came in and they said the reason they gave him the job is because he showed them 100 different ways he can use Tua Tagovailoa, or how do you say his last name? And he came into Tua, the room and said, Tua, you're awesome. This is what I got built for you, and built him up. And Tua's looked completely 100% differently. He's in most people's top 10 quarterback list. He has Tua playing at a good level. But I just thought it was crazy that Tua's being called soft because he's out here bashing a coach for telling him he sucks. I don't want to go to work every day and tell me that I suck at my job and they should have hired someone else. I don't think you're going to perform very well if you hear that every single day. That's absolutely asinine to me. Any thoughts on that?
You're totally right, man. It's
crazy.
There's a such thing as being a tough coach and wanting to some player, and everyone's different. I think Tom Brady did really well, obviously, under a coach that was very tough and very just constantly on him, like, get better, get perfect, like, and some coaches aren't like that, and some players, need that, and some players don't. I think there are even instances where the players that need it aren't on a team where a coach is like that. They want to be their friend, and that player doesn't need a coach like that. They need a coach that's going to be on them constantly. So if you can find or at least figure out what that problem is, you're gonna. This is your career, and you can go up and say, like, I don't do well with a coach like that. We need to figure something out. I don't know if it's not someone being soft as much as it is how parents approach things like that too. You either are a very tough parent, or you realize some of your kids, if you have more than one, some of them require that, some don't. So it's pretty interesting, but yeah, I would assume a lot of players, and that's just not just NFL stuff. That's any sport is like that. Any player on any sport is like that. So I agree with Tua and him finding the guy that is going to prop him up and make him a better player overall. Because if you're not happy and you're just miserable getting yelled at all the time, you're not going to play well.
Saw from the jump that it wasn't going to work. I think as soon as Flores took over, you saw that relationship was not going to work. And I think you see that with Harbaugh. That's why he only survived with San Francisco for a couple years, because they can only take that brash, like he has that effect on kids in college, and they listen because they're 19 years old, 18 years old, and they're like, this guy's won. I think I'll listen to him. You get to the NFL, and this doesn't work. And Brian Flores, I get it. Bill Belichick had a hard deal and was a hard ass, and you hear all these things now, these stories with the wide receiver. They were screaming at him and this and that and the other, and had the skins on the wall when he did that. Okay, yeah. He had the all the years of success to show, hey, my way works. You're going to be able to buy into that. Brian Flores had nothing to back him up. Nothing. He has no wins, you're a brand new head coach, and you want to try to come in there and run a system, and it not only didn't work, but it probably cost you the ability to ever head coach again. And there's not really anybody that's going to take a flyer on a guy that's going to come in and tell their $1 million quarterback that he's terrible at football and I wouldn't have drafted you. McDaniels makes the comments now in the headset. He's like, Alabama sucks, right before he calls the play, but Tua, he's built a relationship with Tua from the beginning that Tua knows, haha, that's cute, and goes out there and plays for him. I don't know. Flores, like I said, I didn't like that hire when they hired him. I didn't think it was a good fit. I think they needed somebody that was more offensive minded and had Tua and work. I don't blame Tua for making the comments. It is what it is, especially if that's what really happened. That's what really happened.
Yeah, and I don't blame him either. And it's weird to me when teams go out and draft a young rookie and it's supposed to be awesome. That's a young rookie quarterback, and then they hire a defensive-minded coach. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
you need to pair him up with someone.
Yep.
But you saw it's like Tua was a whole different player
100%.
from overnight.
Yeah. And the other thing is these are grown adults here, and you're sitting there getting belittled, as an adult, and that's like you're a child,
And like I said, that's why Harbaugh it worked for 2 years in San Francisco, and then it was like, all right, we're done with it.
I wouldn't put up with that kind of stuff.
And I hope that he learned from that and doesn't do the same thing in or Vegas or wherever is now, because if not, it'll be short lived, and he has like a 5-year ban from college, so you might want to make this work for at least 5 years.
Yeah, cheating over there in Michigan.
Nobody's cheating.
Everyone's
Okay,
cheating. That's y'all just got caught.
They
What
all
is it?
do it.
Yeah, they all do.
Well,
And I agree with you, Craig. Like Bill Belichick was an a-hole, but he could be because he had the Super Bowls
Yeah.
and he had the
Yeah.
success, and Saban, and they hard nosed,
Yeah.
and they say, "Hey guys, you want to know why this way works? Look at all the
Yeah.
championships I
Look
have on the
at
back
these
wall here."
trophies right here.
But for a guy to come in and do that, and they're like, "Who the hell is this
Yeah.
guy? What has he ever won in
Yeah.
life?" And I mean, it's a different kind of aspect. Speaking of college football, Nick Saban, college football started officially this weekend. Now, yes, I know we only had like 5 games. There was only one ranked team, which they lost.
Which is not ranked anymore.
Not ranked anymore. They lost to Florida State. They were played in Ireland. They opened the season off in Ireland, which is pretty. The stadium was
That's
pretty
cool.
awesome looking.
That's
It rained on them for a hot second, and but Georgia Tech beats them today 24-21 with a last-second field goal to win the game. Georgia Tech, I thought this game was going to be pretty close. Georgia Tech's one of those teams that just they stick around, a thorn in your side type of team. And Florida State was complaining that they didn't make the playoffs last year, and they lose right away. So not a good look for them so far. They'll drop. I don't know. You think this is a big enough of a loss to drop out of the top 25 altogether week 1?
I don't really.
They're number 10.
I mean, being the fact that they're unranked, the fact that they were in a neutral city, it'd be close.
I think they'll probably be like 22, 23, like they're the bottom of the barrel there in the top 25. Let's go over some of the games that look pretty exciting now. Any kind of college football game could be exciting, as you know, but we're going to go look at the big dogs here. August 31st is really when football season takes off for the college. You got number 1 Georgia versus number 14 Clemson at 11 a.m. on ABC. This one's going to be a good matchup. Georgia's number 1. They're the big dog on campus.
I don't understand.
Very confused. You don't understand how they're number 1? We're going to find out.
Every year in the existence of college football, if you win the national championship,
you're number 1 next year.
Well,
y'all lost a lot of people.
I don't care. They're 9.
You lost your quarterback. 9?
9.
That's pretty low
that's insanity.
For him. That's pretty low for him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not right.
That's
9.
Interesting. I didn't know they were number 9. I didn't look at the rankings.
Whether they lost anyone or not is not really the thing. That's irrelevant right now.
They're trying to project on what. I mean, they're trying to project.
What? I'm tired of the Georgia bandwagon. We're just Georgia.
What?
Why don't we just put Alabama up there? They don't have a head coach anymore.
What they're gonna do this year, and college football turnover is huge. Like it's a big. You lost your quarterback. Who's your backup?
I lost my head coach too, but that doesn't matter.
You lost your head coach. You lost, and the Vikings lost your quarterback too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vikings fans. No, I didn't know they were number 9.
9.
But I want to go on the record here. Give me Clemson with the upset week 1. Number 14 Clemson. I think they have been overlooked this year. They got a lot of talent in that football game.
Right now.
Number 14. Oh yeah, take that, Ryan.
Let me help Ryan. Right. Let me just add the fuel to the fire, as if Ryan is not already mad enough at me. There.
Yeah. He was gonna jump on. He's like, I'm glad I didn't jump on.
So am I, because it would have gotten brutal, and I don't have the voice for that. It would have been pretty crazy. I'm not feeling great, and
I would have gotten taxed for the Dak deal. So
now we're not going. I'm not gonna sit here and ask for a prediction on each game. I just want to go on the record. Clemson will take out Georgia week 1. I'm not betting it, but that's who I got.
I don't know what Clemson has, but I mean,
we got a good football team. I think they got some talent.
Did you just say we?
Good running back. I said they.
Oh. I was like, when did you?
I'm a TCU fan.
I was like, when did you jump on the Clemson bandwagon?
I hope that we do better than we did last year.
Well, that schedule's a little bit easier, but not great.
A little bit easier.
Stanford first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we play Stanford. College game day. They all said agreed. TCU will be a better football team this year than they were last, and so I'm hoping it's true. They all had them beating Stanford week 1.
Better than 4 wins.
Yeah, it doesn't. Number 8, Penn State versus West Virginia at 11 a.m. Penn State should handle business here. West Virginia is one of those teams like Georgia Tech. They're kind of a thorn in the side, but Penn State should take care of business. The big games at night, we got number 7 Notre Dame taking on number 20 Texas A&M.
That game I will watch.
That will be a great football game to watch. And then Sunday, you have a Sunday college football because they can get away with it because the NFL hasn't started yet. September 1st, you got number 13 LSU versus number 23 USC.
Mm-hmm.
USC, they've got a lot to prove this year. Their head coach has done nothing since he's gotten there. The hype has not been there for the guy. I mean, he's overhyped, and then he hasn't been there. He hasn't been good there in UFC, ranked number 23. He's got to do something with all this love that he's gotten.
Oh, Ryan's comment. I know.
Oh no,
I know which game they won't.
Well, Texas played in an easier division or conference, whatever, and they never really did much. They won the national championship with Vince Young. They haven't done much since
30 years ago.
And then they go into the hardest conference in the league, and you think you're going to be better. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
I'd like to see him play Georgia and Bama, and the worst team in the SEC is better than both of the ones that joined.
Lincoln can come be the coach for the OC next year when Mike gets fired. Mike will be fired, and Mike Zimmerman will be your head coach.
He might be fired mid-season if they don't.
Mike Zimmerman's your head coach next year, and Mike McCarthy's fired. It's the writing's on the wall. His replacement's right behind him, like the Grand Reaper.
The only other option is if there's a deal in place already, which I believe there is, that Belichick comes out of retirement.
So next week we're going to have a pretty big debate going on with Texas playing Michigan, right? Or
that's not next week, but it is the first couple weeks.
First, yeah.
It is in the first month.
Ryan's like,
that ought to be fun.
They went to the college football playoff. But did they win? Did they win the national championship? No, they did not.
Michigan won.
Sorry. Zimmer, not Zimmerman. I say that every time. I say Zimmerman, that it's Zimmer, and Ryan. It drives Ryan crazy. I'm going to say Zimmerman from now on. Just drive you crazy, Ryan. But anywho. All right, well, that's the show. That's what we got. We're excited for football season. We're excited for college football, the NFL. We've got a new buddy on here, even though he's a Bears fan. I need to get a hold of him.
Yeah, he's
he's not gonna like your Caleb Williams takes.
Although I will say he has looked better than I anticipated.
Yes. And I told him that in the comments. I said
preseason.
He looks better than I thought he would.
But I'm going to gate them with a grain of salt because he's playing against guys that aren't going to be on the roster.
Yeah, you've got to.
So we'll see in the first. If he shows up like he did in preseason in the first 3 weeks against real NFL rosters, we'll talk. But until then, pump the brakes. Although I did draft Rome Meduze in fantasy football because he looks.
Rome Meduze is an absolute beast.
Amazing. So I'm gonna need Caleb to not suck all the way as much as I think he is, because I'm gonna need some points.
I didn't think he was gonna be worth the hype, but after this preseason, I was like, okay, he looks pretty good.
He does look okay.
I still think Love's better, and
apparently I do.
The Packers are a better football
I think
team.
I got that.
As long as he doesn't melt down and cry, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, that was a little weird, but his weird painted fingernails and all that stuff. Yeah. But I digress. All right, guys. It is that time. We asked a question. It's a long show this week. That's good. What is in your locker? And we'll start with Jeff. Jeff, what's in your locker, bud?
Just getting ready for the fall. It's starting to kind of get a little nicer out. Oh, I know, Brian, that makes you mad.
You son of
so yeah, just it's like every day it rains for like an hour in the evening, so it's been nice. Getting ready for in-laws coming. They're coming the first week of September. So we're gonna go hang out with them. I may not be on that week, but yeah, that's like in 2 weeks. So, but yeah, just work and trying to relax, trying to chill, playing MLB The Show, Road to the Show, a lot.
I got a bone to pick with that. I got a bone to pick with that, Jeff.
So, but yeah, I'm trying to get traded. So I'm done being on the White Sox.
So that's terrible. Oh, White Sox.
But well, the thing is
you
we
ended up
play
there,
we well,
that's a
I
bad
just
draw right
it
there.
just random, whatever. And but yeah, it's like we always somehow each year it's like we miss the playoffs by a game. I'm like, come on now. So playing that, just trying to chill out, kind of gear up for the end of this summer heat, and getting excited for football,
baby
getting
Jesus.
excited for Bo Nix.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's playing the last game or not. I would assume he would be, but maybe even for a couple, like just the drive.
One drive, 2 drives.
But who knows? If not, I'm cool with it. They did pick him, so now he is the starter. I didn't know if we talked about that or not, but the Broncos did pick him first starting quarterback since John Elway in 1980 something.
3, 4.
Yeah, 3, I think. So it's pretty wild. Then all the quarterbacks have come through Denver since then. So
that list is almost as long as the Browns.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
especially after Peyton Manning. That's been the longest. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we got. I'm excited to see him play. I'm excited to see him grow. So I'm just cannot wait to see the first game. So baseball, I've been kind of paying attention to that. We lost the freaking Rockies today, but whatever. It's one of those games. It happens. So, but yeah, Aaron Judge is, I don't know what's going on. He's at 50 home runs now, or nearing 50. He's got 1 away. He's on pace at 62, which is insane. Yeah, just baseball, gearing up for football. Excited. I'm actually excited to see what the Buffs do. Honestly, I don't know. We'll see. But a lot of people at work are like super.
Yeah,
they're
I am very
big time
interested
Buffs
to
fans.
see
So
how that goes.
I hope no offense, Jeff, I hope they fall on their face because of all the trash talking and all the Sanders boys out there going, every time a team plays us, it's their Super Bowl, and I'm like, you won 4 games.
He's
last
always
year.
been that way. He's always been that way. Even when he played with even when he got drafted, though.
I'm not talking about Deion Sanders. I'm talking about his kids.
Well, but yeah, but who raised them? That's all they've known their whole life.
He's out there going, you played your Super Bowl when you won 4 games last year. Let's chill the hell out and win some football games. Could we?
You want him to say that we suck? You want to say that? You want him to say that, Brian? Like we're horrible.
Let's be somewhat realistic with it.
I know.
We're
get
the greatest.
I get
we won
it.
4 games.
I know.
So.
I know. But
I know.
We'll
I do,
see.
and I do like Deion, and I was rooting for him last year, but I'm like, okay, I've had enough of it.
People
Be
here
a good
are
football
super
team
excited
before we start
so,
talking crap.
Yeah, people here are super
Cool
excited
too.
So.
That stadium there.
But that's all. That's all mine. So
I'm gonna take next. Okay.
All right. What's on yours, Brian?
I've been playing a lot of MLB The Show, building my character, and it really pisses me off, Jeff, because I'll build my character. I was a shortstop. I wanted to be drafted. And if you don't know, guys, when you build your character, you can either choose to be drafted by your favorite team, or you can just go to the draft. I was like, Rangers, baby, shortstop, boom. So I go and I go to Double A, and I go to Triple A, and then the Triple A guy sits me down. And he goes, "Hey, we got Corey Seager," and I'm like, my guy's like, it gives you options to talk, and I'm like, he's, yeah, I know, whatever, and the coach is like, well, keep out there and keep at it. 2 games later, I'm traded. I'm like, who the hell's this? I got traded to San Francisco.
Oh, there you go.
And so I got to Double A, Triple A. I make it to the big leagues, the shortstop for the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, we don't have one right now.
The first game I play is against the Rangers. I'm like, ye sons of they did it to me again. I went and created another guy, right field for the Rangers, because Adolis Garcia is not getting the contract with the Rangers. He won't be on the team next year. Right field, they're like, we have Adolis. and I get sent to the Kansas City Royals. I'm like, that's the
Even
last
wo-
time I picked the Rangers to be drafted to. It drives me insane. I just want to play for my team, and apparently they don't need nobody.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy part is I'm trying to get drafted. Dang it! And it's like I'm doing so well, and I'm going like I'm not I'm hitting okay, but I'm like also a closer, so I'm like a dual player,
Yeah.
and my closing stuff is like top notch. I'm like, come on now, and no one. I just keep getting 1-year contracts. I'm like,
But and it's funny because when I get on the major league team, I'm like, all right, it's kind of boring. I want to go build another guy and build my way up to the. But I do love the game. I've been playing that. I've been playing college football. I just started as a wide receiver for Florida State or something, or I'm in a middle linebacker for somebody. I love that. It's great. So if you have that,
Yeah, my
we
brother
need to
said
get
he's
on
already
and
won
play.
the Heisman, 140 times.
We need to get on. We need to get on and play that definitely.
I need to get it first.
Yeah, you do. On my end, it's just been work and getting ready for football. It's a time of year that my wife hates because I'll be in front of that TV screen watching as much football as I can. So she's not too thrilled with it, but she still cheers on the Packers with me, and we go from there.
she's gonna start cheering for the Cowboys now,
Yeah,
just to make you mad.
Definitely not. It's okay. I got some of my daughters that want a Cowboy shirt, and because Grammy's a Cowboys fan, and I don't know if I'm gonna allow it. I just don't know. But
just show her the worst plays that the Cowboys ever did on YouTube and be like, "Do you really want to be a fan?"
Show her the
It's
Zeke.
okay, Dara.
Show her the Zeke is the center play.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. Darla's my diehard Packers fan with me. She's diehard fan with me. So she'll walk around the house going, "Boo
Darla.
Cowboys, go Packers." Yes, I love it. I love it. I didn't even teach her the "Boo Cowboys" part. She just does it. Other than that, we've back to school, and the kids are doing good in school. And other than that, that's really kind of it. Work and football right now. Craig, what do you got in your locker, bud?
Trying to get over being under the weather. Started late Thursday, early Friday, and just very, very throat straining, and coughing, and tired. And so hopefully it's just allergies or sinuses or whatever, and it'll go away in a day or two. I feel a little bit better with the medicine, but ready for college football, ready for the NFL. Like I said, we did the fantasy draft last night. I think I did okay.
Started off with a good quarterback. So
I did. I got Justin Jefferson and Aduze and Aaron
Jefferson
Jones,
too.
the running back from the Dolphins. So I hit A-Chain. Yeah. So
good solid pick.
Yeah, hit.
Aaron Jones, solid pick if healthy this year.
So
did you get anybody from Denver at all, or no?
No, I missed out on Judy and a couple of those.
Oh no, Judy's not on there.
So yeah,
he's in Cleveland.
But
but they have Sutton and stuff.
Yeah, I think my sister-in-law grabbed him right front. I excited about that. We may have to move to Friday if he's going to be out, because I am going to be out on the 7th. I will be up in Oklahoma on the 7th. So
for the thing,
you need to move that to Friday night.
Should be shit. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We started I forgot we started a family game night. So Fridays I come home and get 2 pizzas from Costco, and we play board games with my kids, and we've tried to start that tradition this year, but we'll see if I can finagle the wife here. I think she said
podcast is more important than playing a game night, Brian.
It's more important than your family.
We could do an after game night too.
We're your family.
I could be up late.
Well, she said we might move it to Saturday night, and I was like, "Why podcast?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, but we're not playing board games at 9:00 at night, so it might be okay.
Right.
It should be fine."
Yeah,
we are your family, Brian.
So
Craig and I are your family.
But yeah, work's finally calming down. Got some guys hired. Got this reroute done finally, and that goes online on Monday. So we should be able to reduce everybody's hours.
Your stress level,
and hopefully my stress level. and hopefully my need to drive a front-load trash truck. So, that's about it, though. Busy time of year with football starting. I'm excited to see what Michigan can do on the heels with a new coach, with a new quarterback, with new running backs. The defense is still pretty good. I like the guy that they hired as the head coach. He's the guy that filled in for Harbaugh and won the biggest games of the season. He beat Ohio State and he beat a good Penn State team, and so I'm very excited to see what they do and what these sanctions that they put against them they still say that this head coach could face some time, but we'll see. I think if they were going to do that, they'd have done it already. Understand it because the guy from Ohio State, the head coach from Ohio State, the one that hired him, it's his family that did the investigation supposedly. So that's confusing.
It's all a weird situation.
Yeah,
it really is.
I mean, there's no proof of any of it, and it's all word of mouth, and it is what it is. Everybody's try. I mean, if you're not trying to steal the signs of the other team, then I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what they've done. I mean, Bill Belichick did it. Yep.
Yeah, Ryan had a question about how are you a Wolverine Cowboy and a Giants
Michigan.
fan?
I moved here, and I've been a Giants fan for 35 years. I liked them back because I liked everybody that they drafted back when Will Clark and Kevin Mitchell and Dave Dravecky all played for them back early 80s, 87, 88, right before the Earthquake series against the A's.
That's crazy. I watched a documentary about that.
Yeah. I was watching that game live when it happened.
That's crazy.
So it's funny.
I'm like that too.
But
I have
like I was
1,000 teams.
I was born in Michigan. I lived here, so most affiliation is with the Cowboys and the Stars. And then of course the Giants are the off thread. So they're trying to make the playoffs, but I don't know if they'll get there. The pitching has looked absolutely amazing. They finally got Ray back. Snell is pitching like he wants a new contract. They'll probably lose him, but it sounds like they're going to back up the Brinks truck for Matt Chapman and give him whatever he wants. So,
go Mavs, Ryan.
Yeah,
that's one thing all of us on this podcast and Ryan can all agree on. Go Mavs.
Yeah, I can't argue there.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said documentary, Jeff, because I forgot. I watched the Aaron McNair documentary last night.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
So
and I'm not gonna throw any spoilers. And you're like, spoilers? How are there spoilers? We kind of know what happened. There's some spoilers in there, and it makes you think: was he really murdered by his girlfriend? Who knows? You make your own decision. Go watch it. It's really good. Yeah. It is really good. Yeah, thanks for Bochy. Ryan said, thanks for Bochy, buddy.
You're welcome. That's the only World Series you'll get.
It's looking that way. It's looking like our window might be closed. That's a whole other discussion. Let's not get on that. All right, guys. That is the episode today, episode 229. We broke down a top 10 quarterback list, a little bit of college of football, a little bit of baseball, a little bit of everything. Go Mavericks. All right, guys. God bless, and remember.
Keep it outspoken.
Keep it outspoken.
Awesome episode.